any of those kinds of things.
As you get older, it's more difficult to see. It's just an overhead light.
Yeah.
Okay, if you'd work with, just do the lamps,
Yeah.
then maybe that can get approved next week. Whatever.
All right.
You have anything else?
For non-public.
Non-public. Yes, David?
There was a concern earlier at Calfeans, I just didn't want to.
Oh, yes, I forgot to bring that up. Sandals.
They're approved as long as you're not providing direct resident care.
Is that a good thing to look up to as far as setting the example?
The example in a nursing, resident facility in a nursing home is home-like, in the fact that when you're working in a healthcare facility, such as a hospital, you wear a uniform. Residents don't feel comfortable within that environment in a nursing home. They will wear scrubs for direct paid resident care, but coming from a healthcare background, I used to always wear white jackets. That stereotype is frowned upon as far as the nursing environment.
The sandals within the
Dress code?
clothing
Yep.
allowance?
No. So we're not purchasing sandals.
Individuals purchasing.
Correct. And that's for staff that are working in the departments, in an office. That is not talking about people in the, staff in the dietary department, in the nursing department on the units. It's for staff.
Would you like to follow up on that?
Director of nurses, was that the question?
Yeah, and Cindy, I don't mean to insult anybody,
No,
but as
no.
a director of nurses,
Yeah.
that is a role model.
Yeah.
I've been in a lot of nursing homes down in Florida. I used to be a nursing instructor, et cetera. 30 years as an RN. The director of nurses has always been a role model.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that as a role model, sandals, I can remember when I worked somewhere, I needed the director of nurses to assist me on the floor. She couldn't come out with sandals. What happens if you have a staffing shortage or a crisis? You have a director of nurses in sandals. Then a patient defecates on the floor and she goes sliding in it with sandals on.
I'd be
I
happy.
mean, that's a way out there,
It
but
is.
she had gone out into the floor before. Does she go out on the floor as the director of nurses in sandals?
We've all been out on the floor. I have other shoes to wear if I do need to go out on the floor and assist, and I have done that. But I will certainly look into it, and I'll also look at the standard of other homes as we move forward, both in all dress codes across the nursing home in regard to all areas. Be happy to do that.
Thank you.
And the director of nurses, is she wearing a uniform or just casual
No,
clothes?
she does not wear a uniform. And I will also tell you that not casual clothes, but when the heat arises in the nursing home in the months of May, June, the issue is things are a little lighter because we do not have an air-conditioned facility. But I will be happy to look at that area.
Somebody else had further input or further questions of Sandy? Anybody? Okay, Ron, thank you.
Thank you.
Robin, do you have anything that is public information?
Yeah, I have one item. The board had asked me to go out to bid for the website, and I had put an ad in the paper. I received no responses except for the inquiry from Virtual Town Hall. So I'm asking today that we move forward with upgrading our website using Virtual Town Hall. And I'd like the board approval to do that.
Okay, what was the budgeted item?
So that-
What was the budget?
We had budgeted, I believe, 10,000 we had put in that line for the website.
Yeah.
It's not gonna be that amount.
Do we have a figure for?
Yeah, I got. We're looking at $4,225 for the actual building of the site, creating the site. $750 for training and $2,500 for support. That's the first year. That'll be prorated because we're halfway through the year already, so it's gonna be much less than that.
Yeah.
I don't know what the figure will be, but it'll be less than that. And then they agree to hold the cost constant at $2,500 for 4 consecutive years for annual hosting and support.
Okay. Anybody want to make a motion to accept that?
I move that we accept the bid from Virtual Town Hall through our website.
I second.
And that's going to make it more friendly, right?
Yes.
Promise.
What?
Promise.
We had a question last week about it's not very friendly.
I heard that.
You heard it, okay.
Thank you.
Ed?
You will not be dissatisfied with virtual town hall. You will really like it. Brookfield has just agreed to move to virtual town hall also.
Yeah.
They're very professional. You will be happy that that can be put aside and you won't have to worry about anything.
Okay. And when can they start?
I'm gonna call them today and get training scheduled.
Okay, all those in support of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, so voted then.
Thank you.
Okay. We had several minutes from non-public that haven't been approved.
No.
Have you got a list-
We will
list of
approve
those?
it next week, yeah. I have a couple sets here.
Okay, I got two motions that I'd like to make. The first motion is regarding personnel records. And I would make a motion that, with the exception of the Human Resource Director, no one will view the personal records without prior approval and vote of the Board of Commissioners. That's my motion. And I need a second.
I'll second.
You second it? Okay. Any further discussion on that motion?
Yeah, can you explain that motion?
Well, personal records are not to be viewed by anyone without permission of the person whose records that are in there, for one thing. These are records that are private records. They're only used when there's disciplinary action that needs to be taken. And I said, with the exception of the Human Resource Director, we can still vote to go and look at a particular record if we have a just cause to do that.
You mean like other people or public department heads, employees? So,
Everybody.
Yeah, so they
Nobody,
can do it.
yeah.
Nobody can see it. What about the commissioners?
Nobody, unless the Board of Commissioners votes on it, okay? You had a question?
That was my question.
Okay. Any further discussion on the motion?
So I can see the records if the Board of Commissioners approve that. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay.
If there's no further discussion.
And can you also explain to me personal records? Are resume also included in that?
Anything that's in the personnel folder
The
would be
resumes?
included.
Resumes is also in it.
Yeah.
But Robin Reed, you are here. I had a conversation with you. You told me when you get hired in 2007 that it was already voted, you had that agreement. So why do we have to make that motion again and vote it on it? I even asked you to send it to me. You sent something to me from '07 and it was not even signed. You couldn't hand it to me because you said it is in a computer and you emailed it to me and it is not signed. But you said you already had the authorization, the motion was made. So I don't understand why we have to do it again.
The motion, previously, anybody, including department heads, could go in and look at those records. And unless there's a just cause or disciplinary action taken, we as a Board of Commissioners when we take disciplinary action in non-public session, we would request that that record be brought to us. Otherwise, the Director of Human Resources is the one that takes care of those minutes. They're under lock and key in her office. And
You mean the records, not the minutes?
what?
You mean the records?
The records, right.
But
Personnel records.
I hear it was already in place, you already have that.
I don't think it's clear. I just want to make it clear that with the exception of the Human Resource Director, no one can go in and look at files unless approved by the Board of Commissioners.
Robin, can you tell me what you have then? Can you explain that to me? Because you told me you already have it and you sent an email to me.
I don't think it matters. I think what I'm trying to do is clarify it. And if you have anything further regarding the motion, I would accept it. But to go back and look at what was approved prior,
No, she sent it to me from 2007. She said that she already had it and it was not signed and it was not dead.
No.
okay, so this one would be approved and signed, and a policy would be brought up and to this motion. Yes, sir.
I guess I do have a question. Is the import of this that somebody who is a job applicant, for example, their resume can't be seen by any given commissioner unless the other commissioners agree?
Well, with a resume, when somebody's applying for a job, that is separate and that is looked at by everybody.
Okay. Okay. So this wouldn't
This is-
apply until somebody's hired, in other words.
What's that?
Once somebody is hired, then their file would be closed under
Right,
this policy.
right. Yep. Damon?
Was there a problem of somebody who shouldn't have access going through on their own unilaterally?
I don't want to get into that right now. My next motion will answer that question, maybe. All those in support of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, nay.
I abstain.
You abstain or you
Abstain.
abstain? Okay. Then the motion is carried. My next motion is to hire a labor attorney to investigate a hostile work environment situation. I can't go into any details because it would be, it's being investigated now. And I think we need to have an attorney give us some guidance and help investigate the situation to clarify it. We have a harassment policy in effect. And basically, every employee has the right to work in an environment free from harassment. And it goes into different types for the sexual harassment and harassment defined, visual, retaliation, and so forth. I just feel that we need to have an attorney to give us some guidance as to a particular situation that has come about, that is being investigated, that I can't really talk about until the investigation is completed. So I'd like to have a motion. I'd like to have a second.
Do you know any pricing?
You want to second it?
I want to know the money, how much is
Yeah,
going to
because
cost?
before we
Is
get
that
that,
gotta get
it's
in? Do you have any numbers?
We need, well, okay, wait a minute. I need to get a second first.
Yes.
You second it? Okay, now your question?
Oh, the numbers, do you know who you're hiring, which company, which lawyer, and how
It would
much
be
is
a
going?
labor attorney, and I have checked with Betsy Miller from the Director of the New Hampshire Association of Counties, and she will be giving us a recommendation
And a
as to who
cost?
to hire.
A cost also?
We don't know what that cost is. We do have money in a budget for attorney fees. It's something that.
From which
that we
budget
need
is
to
it
do.
coming? Is it coming from the commissioner's budget?
Excuse me?
Which budget is it coming from?
It could come from Commissioner's budget, yes. Yes?
Historically, I think we still use Primex for a liability carrier. They've done the preamble to this sort of affair in retraining and counseling in talking to the different parties that are involved